Welcome to the Health Fix Podcast, where health junkies get their weekly fix of tips, tools, and techniques to have limitless energy, sharp minds, and fit physiques for life. Hey, health junkies. On this episode of the Health Fix Podcast, I'm interviewing Jessica Frandson. She is the co-founder of CAMPO Beauty, along with her childhood best friend, Jill King. How fun is that? Now, they have transformed their love of essential oils, the ancient art of aromatherapy, and luxury beauty oils into a modern aromatherapy blend that is CAMPO Beauty. And I have to agree, they're doing some really cool stuff with their oils. They have them in one airport in California. They also are integrating their oils into the birthing center and into some pre and post surgical studies at Hoag Hospital there in Orange County. So really cool stuff on the horizon here for CAMPO Beauty. But in this podcast, we're going to be talking about their company as a whole, their sourcing, but also the beauty of oils and how essential oils can transport us to a truly calming place. They have scents that are blends for the ocean, for desert, for mountains. It's cool stuff. Can't wait for you to meet Jessica Frandson. So let's get into the podcast. Hey, health junkies. I have Jessica Frandson on today, and we're going to be talking about essential oils, one of my most favorite subjects. And like most of us, we've all kind of dabbled in essential oils here and there, but do we really know where they're coming from? Do we really know the story behind them? And I think that's really important, as a lot of us are starting to get more sophisticated as we dive deeper into the things we put into our bodies, what we interact with. And so, Jessica, welcome to the Health Fix Podcast.
Thank you, Dr. Jannine. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, my pleasure. I mean, when your husband was like, hey, have you heard about Jessica's company, CAMPO Beauty? I'm like, no. And it, of course, took a deep dive into the website. I was like, oh, yes, we've got to talk about your essential oils. We've got to talk about what you're up to. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with essential oils. What was your first experience? Were you dealing with anything or just playing around?
Yeah, good question. So being married to my husband, we've actually just celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary this weekend. He has been on a wellness journey basically his whole life, because he had an experience with his father and he saw his dad basically be a pincushion. And so that turned him to a whole, new way of looking at how you can heal the body naturally. And so I was already about 50% there, I think, when I met my husband. And then he just opened my eyes to just so much. I mean, even when it came down to vaccinations, things that I was kind of ambivalent about, he showed me material that I just was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. So I think so much of where we're getting back to our roots is common sense. And I think we've kind of stepped away from it, or maybe things have been overcomplicated. And so my journey with essential oils it's kind of a slow journey at first. It was because one of the gifts I've been given is that I have an incredible nose. So for better or worse, like I can smell the most beautiful things at the highest level, almost like a canine, or, to the bad sense is like, I can walk into someone's home and go, oh my gosh, there's mold. Like I just smell it all. And so I've always been fascinated with, fresh cut flowers and gardening, like everything, all the senses have really been something that have brought me passion and joy. That's where I really find myself getting lit up. So I always loved having beautiful perfume. I always loving to have fresh flowers, baking, cooking, all those things that are kind of sensory and sense of smell. And then at one point, I actually had an opportunity. I was working for my family business, and it was a product called Simple Green. And that is an all-purpose non-toxic cleaner. And it was really ahead of its time back in the 70s. But as I got a little more educated and as I was, maturing, I realized that there was a big wave coming of all natural. And this was, gosh, maybe 20 years ago or even more. It was just about the time I met my husband, Justin. And I realized even though Simple Green was an incredible product, it did have synthetics in it. So I wanted to see if there was something we could do to also be a really effective cleaner, but be 100% natural. So I asked my dad if I could come up with like a supplementary line to see, how that would be received. And so in that process, I wanted to scent things 100% natural with essential oils. And that's where I got my first education in the primary difference between a scent and a fragrance. And for the most part, a scent should be something from nature that's created from nature. It's not a hybrid of anything. And then something that's a fragrance would typically be something that's manufactured synthetic, like kiwi ocean or something like that. Like that doesn't exist in real life. So from there, that was just something that kind of like, it was a little nugget that was just tucked away, in my bank. And, again, I would use essential oils just very casually and just in a very, very simple way. Lavender is like the gateway. So I had some lavender and I probably had some eucalyptus for my shower, and I just would enjoy it, here and there. And then what really prompted me was fast forward. I went to meet my best friend, childhood best friend, and she had moved from Southern California, where we both grew up, and she was living in Texas. And so I was getting settled in. She came in to check on me, and she saw my mini apothecary at my favorite perfume, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I have that exact same perfume." And then she goes, "Check out my apothecary." So from floor to ceiling, she had every essential oil under the sun. And so that night, as we were catching up, we started talking about and really reimagining what essential oils could look like. And we were like, what if Tom Ford and Apple had an essential oil baby? What would that look like? It would be clean, modern, intuitive, have knockout healing powers, smell intoxicating, be really straightforward, meaning pre-blended, ready to go, have the carrier oils if you needed it. And so we really, we wanted the packaging, just everything. We're like, why does it have to be in a brown tincture bottle and have, woohoo writing all over it? Yeah. We thought, gosh, I'd really love something that aesthetically would like slot right into my lifestyle, be really jet set ready, meaning it could be portable to and from work, to and from travel, in and around your home. And so as we started conjuring up all these things that we wanted for our lives, we were busy working moms. And what we really talked about, what we needed was we needed more energy, we needed to focus, we needed to relax, and we needed to sleep better. So those are the four daily rituals that we founded our company on. And what we really found that was missing in the market was having these pre-blends. Like, so, we wanted to take the guesswork out of it. So instead of saying, I need lavender and I need, a valerian root and, all these different elements, people could go to the market. And that was the other thing that was happening at that moment, was that there was two ways to really experience and expose yourself to essential oils. It was either going to a local health food store, and that would typically be an A or an F experience. Somebody would be either quite knowledgeable and really help you on your journey, or you'd stand there by yourself and just look at this wall of essential oils, spend a couple $100s on essential oils and go home and go, now what do I do with it? Right. So that was kind of one, experience that we were having, or we would hear people have. And then the other one would be, I got invited to Aunt Sally's. It was an MLM party. There's a little bit of peer pressure. You get caught up in all this, jazzy excitement. But then again, you go home and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm committed to this, big investment. And now what do I do with it? So we wanted to take some of the stigma away from it, like the crunchy hippie, like I'm from Laguna Beach, like I can speak to that. Like that's kind of like a, Californians, live on avocados and wear patchouli. And, I have to say, up until, I really started on this journey myself, I was not a fan of patchouli. I thought it was stinky and just very, it had a very specific scent. But as I got to really understand essential oils, very similar to wine, you can have a box wine for $5.99 and, feed 50, or you could have a beautiful cult wine that might be $5,000, $50,000 that is, picked from the finest grapes at the peak of ripeness. So we really wanted to go for that top shelf, beautiful, everything we did with CAMPO, we wanted to have intention and purpose. From the packaging, we wanted it to be beautiful and just really minimal so that it could sit on top of the counter, not below the counter. That way we felt you'd be more apt to incorporate these daily rituals throughout the day, not just once or twice, or, it's like vitamins, you stow them away, you forget to take them. So we thought that was a real important piece of it, even though that might sound a little superficial. We thought that was a really important part of it. If it really slotted into anybody's design element, it would just literally blend away or actually enhance the environment. So that was one. Number two is we really wanted to source our own ingredients. We didn't want to just go, oh, hey, we're a couple of housewives that are going to go to a manufacturing company, give them our ideas, and then have the product arrive on our doorstep. We literally I thought this part of the journey would be much quicker, but in hindsight, I'm really glad that it was, because it was almost like a love letter between two best friends, because my best friend's in Texas, I'm in California. And the first thing that we set out to put in one of our blends was for energy. So again, our daily rituals are energy, focus, relax, and sleep. And I thought, oh my gosh, neroli, that is I think the most beautiful essential oil out there. It's very rare. It takes about 1,000 pounds of the orange blossom to actually be pressed and extract the essential oils to make a kilo, which is, if people are here in America, kind of like a quart of milk, that would be about $8,000. So typically people don't even know, they haven't even experienced neroli and the benefits of it, which are just magical, because it's so expensive and you don't see that in blends. And that was something at the time when we started, nobody was doing blends. It was mostly single notes. So that was something that we thought was really important, is let's do our research. Let's figure out. And that's how we would start, is if we were doing an energy blend, we would look at, let's say there's 100 essential oils out there that could produce that element of helping to promote energy. Then we would just keep filtering it down either by scent, like how did it smell? Was it intoxicating? Did it meet that, did it check that box? And then what was more universally accepted, maybe photosensitivity. We just try to look at how we can make everything as universal as possible, but as special as possible. So using top shelf ingredients, we sourced all of our own essential oils from all over the world. So it's not like we're getting it from one source. We're getting them from, if we want neroli, and sometimes that changes. It might be, coming from Italy at one point, and then if they have a hard season with rain or something, it's going to happen. So that's kind of a continuous journey for us, is our sourcing. But that's one of my favorite parts of creating CAMPO, is that we know every ingredient that goes into our product. Again, every blend that we've created, I've created, and then with the help of my business partner, she lets me be the nose, but then she does the final sign off, and she's the one kind of dotting all the I's and crossing the T's. She gets really in the weeds, and I get to do all the beautiful kind of big picture thinking. What are we needing right now? Like whether it's, and I can get into some of our collections and how they came to be, but with essential oils, there's two basic ways that you can appreciate and enjoy them. You can either inhale them, and so that can either be through a diffuser, or just literally you could take a bottle and just crack it open and just take a nice deep breath. So that's going up into your olfactory, and then it's connecting to some of the deepest part of your brains, connecting memory and emotion. And then the other way you can enjoy and experience essential oils is through absorption into your skin, and it gets into your bloodstream. So as we were sourcing, like those are all the things that were really important to us, is having the most beautiful, the most top quality, and knowing that we could stand behind that. We even took it a step further, and so we're 100% natural with everything we do. And then we're Leaping Bunny certified, which means there's no cruelty to animals in anything that we've done in the process of creating our essential oils.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So I think a lot of folks are like, well, geez, your foundations obviously are very attractive, because I think you hit on one of the most important things, or maybe one of the most common things I hear from women is like, yeah, the essential oils are singular and I don't really know how to blend them. So I have these oils, but I don't know what to do with them. And so I'm often asked like, hey doc, what do you do with frankincense or neroli, for example? Not that many people are sitting around with a singular neroli. That is definitely not one I hear. But I'm often asked, like, how can I use these essential oils? Because yes, maybe someone was brought in on an MLM type of deal or something of that nature too. So I think looking at your foundations, and how did you guys create these? What did you guys do? Did you get together and have essential oil parties? I mean, what a great way to be able to like make excuses to see your best friend.
It was. And so we call them ethos. So our daily rituals are energy, focus, relax, and sleep. And then from there, we thought about all the pain points that are most universal. So we have one for your head, which is called crown. We have one for your chest called breathe, to open up and, start the airflow better. One is called detox. And then we have one called immune. So that's our natural remedies collection. And then the next collection we created was our mindfulness collection, and that's connecting like the heart, mind, body connection. So we have a love blend, we have a gratitude blend, we have a manifest, and a sanctuary blend. And so those all kind of came about as our needs were arising. So we started with our daily rituals, and then something would come along, and I'm like, oh, you know what? This is something I would really want in my life. And then I'd say, hey, Jill, what do you think about this? Yes. And it would go back, back and forth. Or Jill would say, hey, Jess, I'm thinking I really need this. This is missing in my life. So that's every ethos that we've created came out of a need out of our own personal lives or somebody in our lives. It was like, hey, have you thought about this? This would just be amazing for me. And again, taking all the guesswork out, and they're just very straightforward. When you see the word breathe, you're like, oh, I'm a little congested. I need to open up. I think I need the breathe blend. Or, hey, I'm feeling a little tired, or I need a boost, energy, perfect. So that was things we really wanted to try to make it as simple and straightforward as possible. And then our last collection, which is really fun, is called our destination collection. And that was meant to transport you to these beautiful destinations and then transform your mind, body, and spirit. And we started that based on our California roots. So when you think about California, people think about our beautiful beaches. But that might bring you to California, but we have incredible mountains full of the woods. We have deserts that are just so full of energy and all these, sage and just these beautiful, like really healing properties. And then we have our beautiful canyons. So we have ocean, canyon, desert, and woods are our four ethos within our destination collection. So we feel like we've really covered the basis and we've kept it really tight as a collection. So it's still very manageable for people to understand without having to go to all these different single notes. We still do have kind of the hero single notes if people want to be a purist, and we offer those as well. But for the most part, we thought that this was what made CAMPO special and how we could help people on their journey with essential oils. Like, take a little bite of the apple. Let's keep it really simple for you. And as you want to learn more, we also want to be that resource for people. So on our website, we have a page called Ingredient Field. And literally from A to Z, you can go into any ingredient that we have listed on any of our products. And I'll have a beautiful, it's almost like if Vogue did an encyclopedia of essential oils. It'll have a beautiful photo. So it kind of draws you in, has a little bit of history. It has some quotes. And if you want to keep drilling down and getting deeper into what is that essential oil, it's all there for you. The origin of where we sourced it from, and maybe how it may have been used, in the history of that essential oil. So that's something that we really want to try to keep improving upon and really just be a beautiful source for people to come and a trusted source.
Yeah. So like when you're trying to come up with where do I source things from, are you traveling to these places? Is there a central like website? I imagine catalogs. I don't know. You got to give me the scoop of like how do you sleuth these places out?
Yeah, so a lot of it is it's like an Easter egg hunt. You start maybe with you get one great source for something, and then they're like, oh, hey, I know of somebody over here that's. I think it would be very akin to the organic farming community. You may be in the tomato business, but you're like, oh my gosh, if you want the best grapes, you have to go to my buddy in California, or that kind of thing. So it's really been just a discovery journey for us with all of our sources. Sometimes we have traveled, but now it's part of the thing that happened is we started with our 4 daily rituals, and then I think we found it in 2018. And so, pretty short into our journey, we had COVID and we were just locked down. So a lot of things, it was great that we had these trusted relationships because we could and that's where I did a lot, where I think if you look at the history of how we started expanding the line, I think it was when I was at home just being a mad scientist. I'm like, oh, let's do this. That's in fact how Manifest came about, that blend, as well as gratitude, because even though that was such a crazy time for us all, I felt like, wow, as a whole, I was with my family. I lived in a beautiful place that was safe. I had freedom in terms of my own community and what I was doing. I could still go down to the beach. We really lived our lives with a lot of freedom during that time, which a lot of people didn't. So I felt so full of gratitude. And that's where that kind of inspired me to create that scent. And the manifest was like, I was manifesting like just literally good for the world. Like I just wanted it all to open up. And so it was kind of a twofold thing, how those two blends came about.
Nice. Now, I read something that you were kind of mentioning about your carrier oils and choosing them and being able to interchange them. Is that what I understood, or did I read it wrong? Help me understand the essential.
So that's a great question. So one of the other things we wanted to do when we started the company was take that guesswork out of the carrier oil. So again, typically, with our pure essential oil, that was something that was really important to us. We have it in a violet glass, and the violet glass comes from Norway. And The reason we chose this glass, and it's a premium glass, is because it helps to harness the natural energetic properties of the oils, as well as helping to block out any of the harmful UV rays. So that was super important to us. And when you get an essential oil, for the most part, you really need to blend it with a carrier oil because it's potent. So that's where you'll see people, you can use anything, almond oil, coconut oil, avocado. I mean, literally anything could be a carrier oil in terms of if it's got some kind of base, you can use your favorite lotion. But what we wanted to do, and what we did our research was, we found that jojoba oil, which is one of the more premium carrier oils, is the closest to your body's natural sebum. So what that means is it's going to absorb more quickly into your bloodstream. It's going to leave a nicer finish, not so greasy. So it's just a great agent to help carry that oil into your bloodstream. And then you'll start to get the effects at a more rapid pace. The other thing we thought, well, gosh, while we're doing this, and hence CAMPO Beauty, is if we're going to have carrier oils, let's have everything be working for us. Let's just have extra bonuses all over the place. So not only do we have jojoba, which is a beautiful, nourishing, and hydrating carrier oil, we added in vitamin E as our preservative, which has all these other beautiful beauty benefits. We have camellia seed in there. So we just made this, it's not just one carrier oil that's in our carrier oils. It's a blend of them. It's a meritage of the most beautiful carrier oils so that you get the benefits of it. So the next step 2 was, okay, we've got our pure oil, which is great to just put in your diffuser or put a little bit in your shower, those little places. And I can get into some more DIYs later if we have time. But we wanted to have things, we call it jet set ready to go. You don't have to mix, pour, do anything. So that's why we came up with a roll-on. So our roll-on is the perfect amount of 100% pure essential oil to the carrier oils. So even though they might be blends of, there might be 5 different essential oils in a blend and maybe 5 different carrier oils, it's the perfect balance of everything you need in that particular ethos. So if it's energy or focus or relax, any of the roll-ons, it's pre-blended, ready to go. And what I love about the roll-ons is they're really great little multitaskers too, because you can, after you put it on your pulse points, which actually I should point that out right now too. The reason you go to your pulse points is there's more, you've got your blood vessels and it can get into your bloodstream quicker than just rolling it on the top of your, forearm, let's say, for example. So your pulse points are at your temples, behind the base of your neck and your ears, your wrists, and the back of your knees, the crick of your elbow, and then your feet wouldn't necessarily be a pulse point, but they're just an awesome place, and it's your biggest absorption point. And so with that, I like to take the roll-on and I'll just, do a nice application of the roll-on oil to my hands, and then I'll rub my hands together, pat the bottoms of my feet, and that really helps activate the oils, and then it really will get into your bloodstream really quick. So that's one of my favorite places to apply essential oils.
Oh, I love the feet. There's just, I don't know, there's just something. I know people are like, oh, my feet, but it's the magnesium oil. I started there, and then from there, it's just kind of expanded as to all the different things that you can do.
It's fantastic. So, I went over the pulse points. So again, the 2 basic ways. I mean, some people will promote ingesting essential oils. We just don't do that. Even though this is plant medicine, we feel like that just takes it to a whole nother level. We know that we can safely advise people to use our pre-blended essential oils on their pulse points. We can use our 100% natural, the pure essential oil in a diffuser. And it's just a beautiful passive way to get the benefits of essential oils without having to do one darn thing.
Yeah.
And, that's the other great thing is, I love candles. I love the ambiance of candles, but if you're not burning a really beautiful, pure candle, you're just burning synthetics into your home. So the diffuser is a really great swap for a synthetic candle. You still get this ambiance of the steam coming out. There's, in our diffuser in particular, there's like 2 settings of a nightlight. So you kind of get that glow of a candle. So that's something that I think is important for people to just be educated about. As much as I'm a fan of candles, it's like, don't, rip them from me. But, just with that, you have to really consider it in moderation too, because they're just not healthy.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, it's really hard for a lot of people to get past that. And I've really worked with a lot of clients, to get the Glade plugins out, get the, toxic candles out, and really start switching over to diffusers and essential oils. Because let's face it, like, it's nice to have a good scented home, but at the same time, we don't want to be like trashing our bodies.
Right.
It's so in terms of your diffuser, is this something you guys designed? Is it something that you found and you're like, I really just like this product? Tell us a little bit more about your diffuser.
Yeah, so that was something that was really important to us. So we designed, we have 4 different designs, and they're just literally like little pieces of art. And so this is, we have, it's just a really simple, basic shape. And this comes in a white ceramic, a black ceramic, and then we have a natural wood and a dark wood. And
Mm.
I have to say, the natural wood's probably my very favorite one. It's just so kind of like got that beachy Jenny Kane. It's just so gorgeous. I just love it. And we just wanted them to be able to just really elevate any space or mood so that it kind of blended in and it wasn't some, big colorful eyesore or, some big monster, living in the corner of your kitchen or what have you.
I laugh only because some of the ones I've seen look like weird, like alien things. You're like, is that going to take off in the corner there? What's going on over there? So these are very like, I mean, folks, they're very sleek. They're very, I'd say modern.
Yeah.
And they look very good for just having in your home as a decorative piece for sure, for sure. So okay, you guys got those together. And in terms of diffuser blends, do you have different diffuser blends compared to the regular blends? You just one or
No,
the other?
they're all the same. And so when you have the 100% essential oil blend, that can really be used for anything too. So, but you just have to use a little more work. So that can go directly into your diffuser. And this is just a little tip: no matter what diffuser you use, be sure that you always add water first, then the oil, because often I think people get so excited they crack the oil first because they want to smell that. They glug that in, and then that will start to gum up your inner housing of any diffuser. So that's just one little tip to keep in mind. So always do water first, then your oil.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
with the pure blend, there's so many ways you can use it all by itself. I mean, like I said, I use it daily in the shower. I love it. It just creates like an instant spa. No matter what blend you're using, it just feels so good. I use it in my laundry every day. I use unscented natural laundry soap. So I just put that in there. So then I can make that, whatever it is I'm feeling, whether I want to use relax or energy, any of the blends, they're just beautiful. And then if I want to really bump it up, I'll put some on a dryer ball, throw it in the dryer. I use it in a mist bottle. I'll use it for linen sprays if I just want to refresh things. If they've been, in the linen closet, I'll make sprays for my face. One of the things we wanted to do initially when we launched the brand was we wanted to have an energy focused, relax and sleep mist. We thought, oh my gosh, that'll be so awesome. But as we went down that journey, we just realized in order to stay 100% natural and true to what, one of the pillars of our brand was, we had to use we were trying all these different natural preservatives. And it was like this love letter between my girlfriend and I, business partner. I would say, I just got my sample. How about you? We try not to taint each other. And we go, okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, it's not bad. She's like, yeah, it's not bad. And we're like, wait, one of our principles was it had to smell intoxicating. So even though, the essential oil we're putting in was absolutely intoxicating, when it got down to the preservatives and the emulsifiers in order to blend the oil and water together, that's kind of when you have to look at, am I willing to use the best of the worst synthetic to do the process, or do we just keep this as a DIY until such time we find something that's beautiful? And that's what we decided to do at the end of the day. So even though that's one little step, it's almost like a meal prep. You can just once a week just get a little spray bottle, put in some distilled water, a few drops of your favorite essential oil. So whether it's Crown for headaches, energy to just spritz in the morning, relax later in the day, I just keep them in my refrigerator and just use them as I want. And then at the end of the week, I'm start fresh.
I like that. I like that. It's funny how we kind of have the evolution of businesses of where we have all these ideas and then we, either will go for them at, let's put it this way, it doesn't matter the cost. And I like that you guys stuck true to your roots. And I think that's really something important to have folks here, because I do know that a lot of companies will sell out in trying to get what they want, and unfortunately, at the risk of something being slightly.
There are certain blends that are just fantastic. So the relax is great for kids, the sleep blend, the Breathe blend. Those are all fantastic and kind of the universal ones. And I've used them with my kids or with my daughter and her group of friends. Like they'd be in the soccer, we'd be taking them to soccer and we're like, okay, who needs their energy blend? And they're like, me, it's like, it's just fun because then they start taking ownership of their own health and, really setting their intentions. But getting back to Campo Cares, that was something that was really important from day one, is that Jill and I wanted to give back in a way that was meaningful to us. And so I had been a part of a group called Second Harvest, Harvesters. And that's a group of about 50 women in Orange County. And we put on one event a year and we raise about $1 million and everything's underwritten. I think 10% maybe goes back into the coffer just for some administration things, but the amount of money that's raised and that goes back in the community is incredible. So I was always witness to this. And then that would go to Second Harvest Food Bank. And so we would get to see, literally farm to table. We'd go pick beans in the morning, they'd get on a truck, there was a whole pantry. And so I got to really see this whole operation of like farm to table and then food. And when you think about Orange County where I live, it's such an affluent community. But when you see that so many people are just right at the poverty line, right? So it just takes one illness, a divorce, a tragedy in their family where you're just hanging on by a thread. And then these people that look like you and I are too prideful to even ask for help. And so that's kind of my first entry into like it being at a local level and seeing how much you can really help people. And so when Jill and I started Campo, we really did want to give back. And we looked at all the different things we could have given back to. And at the end of the day, Jill really, she loved the work I'd been doing at Second Harvest Food Bank. And I said, I think it makes so much sense for us because we're literally taking from Mother Earth, right? That's what Campo means. Campo means field or countryside in Italian and Spanish. So we're scouring the globes, finding the most beautiful fields and countrysides. And that's where we're harvesting our essential oils from. And we bring them back here to the States where we blend them. So we're super proud to be made in America. And we're female founded and operated. And so kind of giving back and coming full circle, like it just makes sense to give back to something that comes from the earth and that's going to feed people's, souls. So we give back to Feeding America, which is kind of the big umbrella across the nation. And then Second Harvest Food Bank would be a local chapter in Orange County, and those scattered across the country. So that's something that we continue to support and we'll do so.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so now we've got that connection there as well. I think, at this point, a lot of folks might be going, okay, you've given us some nuggets, like especially the laundry. I love the laundry balls and putting the essential oils on those. And I didn't really know about that till one of my girlfriends was like, oh gosh, yeah, I do that all the time. I'm like, huh. Okay, so there's probably a bunch more of little nuggets that you have in terms of DIY and how to use your products in fun ways that folks might not have been thinking about. So I'm going to turn it over to you to give us some fun stuff.
These are some fun ones, especially coming up with the holidays. But what I'm going to do before I get to that is just a really good daily. This is called our infinity ritual.
Okay.
So what you can do, I designed it at first with the roll-on in mind. But if you don't have our roll-on and you're just using an essential oil, you can just put a few drops with your carrier oil in the palm of your hand and then just use your finger. Okay, so I'm just going to start and pretend like I have the roll-on. So I would take my roll-on and I'm going to create the infinity sign in the palm of my hand. And I'm going to do that 8 times. Then I'm going to rub my hands together 8 times to activate the oils. Then I'm going to start with 8 deep breaths in and out. I'm going to think about my intention, whether I'm giving gratitude, things I may want to manifest. So as you're taking those deep breaths, you can literally, as you're, rubbing your hands together, taking this deep breath, you can feel the chi energy in your hands, like literally become electric. And that's just, close your eyes, take those deep breaths. It literally takes you all of maybe 30 seconds to do this ritual. And we recommend that you do it when you wake up, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and as needed throughout the day. You can do it literally at a stop sign. You can do it at your desk. You can do it before you walk in the door to greet your family. If you need a moment to just, calm yourself down, if you need to refocus. So we find that has just been, people really want to know, how do I do this? How do I incorporate this into my life? That has been one that we get such great feedback on whenever I share that ritual. So that's it's infinity, it's the 8 sign. You do basically everything 8 times. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So that's our infinity ritual. A couple of my favorite ways to use essential oils that are a little bit, I would say, unconventional would be like, so I love letter writing. I love the note cards. I love anything. I used to actually own a stationery store. So I love to scent stationery. And especially this time of year, I think it's so beautiful when you're sending out your holiday cards to have like a little scent to them, I think is just so special. And so we did actually launch, we have two scents that are absolutely incredible for holidays. Woods is one that's in our destination collection, and it literally smells like a fresh cut Christmas tree. It's fir balsam, Scotch pine. There's about 5 different pines in this one, and it's just unbelievable. So if you like the scent of, walking through the forest after a fresh rain, that's one that's just magical. Then the one that's limited edition is our Joy Blend. And that is so beautiful. It's a sweet orange, just a dash of cinnamon, frankincense, and myrrh. So it's like all the king's oils and some of the holiday ones, but just not, it's not so in your face. The cinnamon is just like a whisper of it. And so what I love to do is, so you can take cotton balls and put the essential oil on your cotton ball, take whatever stationery that you want to have scented, take a plastic Ziploc bag and just put the cotton balls in with it and just let them like cure overnight, or as long as the longer the better. That's one way to do it. You can also put the essential oil into a spray bottle and you can spray things on, like say the back of it, but the cotton ball is the best way because then you don't get any of the oil marks. But sometimes that's fun too. You're writing a letter and it's kind of like, it's a little sexy, like, oh, here's like almost like spraying the perfume, we're spraying the essential oil on it. So that's something you can do. And then also I've scented gift wrap paper. So then when they're opening their presents, there's this beautiful, aroma of whatever you want to express. So that's a fun one. I like to also take, like I said, you could take a tissue, like a Kleenex, you could take cotton balls, put your essential oil on it, put it in your lingerie drawer, put it in your workout drawer. Those are great ways to just keep things smelling fresh. Same thing in your car. Couple drops on a cotton ball, just put it in your glove box anywhere in your car, and that'll give you really great aromatherapy right there. We also have a travel diffuser. So if you really want to have, like you're going on road trips or if you're commuting, quite a bit, that's always nice. And it's little this size of like a soda can, and it fits in your cup holder and it goes into your USB port. So that's really great. What other ones do I like? I like making potpourri because I love to bake. So I'll take like zest of an orange peel, zest, or, whatever you have on hand. So I love zesting things. It could be grapefruit, any of your citruses. And then I love fresh rose petals, or any, like if you have flowers that have kind of like flopped out, you can just take those, put them in a bowl with a few citrus rinds, and then add your favorite essential oil and just toss that together. And then it's just beautiful and it smells beautiful. And then it's just like something that you've created, and it's got like heart and warmth in it.
Oh, nice. I never would have thought of that, but it's a great way to use the flower bouquets when, they've kind of timed out, or the ones outside that you've got a couple left that look somewhat decent. I like that. I think, one of the big things is really thinking about helping folks find alternative ways to have scents and beauty and comfort in the home, and something that's going to be non-toxic. Because my personal experience, what brought me to essential oils more than anything, is because I cannot, like, I'm kind of like you, my sniffer can tell all kinds of things, including mold and those things. But for me, it's like if someone has a fake scent in the house, I'm already getting a headache. I'm definitely chemically sensitive, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. It doesn't make me feel good. But as soon as I get a hold of something like this, it kind of brings me back to life and makes me happy that I can smell these nice things, because I used to like them. I just didn't know any better.
Well, the other thing that I really like to empower people is to really tap into your breath. I mean, essential oils aside, like obviously I'm a big fan and this is what I do, but I feel like the more people can just tap into their breath, like on a daily basis, I think we all run around either like hummingbirds or we're holding our breath. We don't even realize it. And your breath is your biggest gift, right? It's your life force. And so by just taking those little moments throughout the day, even if you're doing that ritual without anything, like your brain, literally it's a trigger. Once you start doing that, you can start doing that figure 8 thing without one drop of essential, and your body's going to go into that state. It's going to literally connect because your mind is tapping into those deep emotions and sense. And it's really it'll put you right back into that special place once you've grounded yourself. So that's something that I would like. It's free. It's your own body. It's just you. It's just a simple ritual. You can, like I said, you can do it in the car. You can do it in line at the grocery store if you're having a moment, like just whatever. Like you can take power and really calm yourself, or reset yourself at any moment in time. And so that's been really special. And that kind of flags one of the things that we created that I'm really proud of is we are partnered with Hoag Hospital in Orange County, and they asked us to come up with, they wanted to incorporate essential oils into their birthing rituals. So we have a mama collection, which is beautiful and universal, and it's just a beautiful blend to help with nausea, to help calm and soothe while you're pregnant. But in addition to that, we created a ritual called Relax, Breathe, Receive. And so when mothers to be are coming in and they're asked would they like to incorporate essentials into their birth plan, they go through that ritual of, first it's relax. When you go into that environment, it's kind of stressful. You're like, oh my gosh, what's coming next? So we get them in a relaxed state. Then we get them into their breathing ritual. And then we get them into the receive ritual. And each step of the way has different essential oils to help either stimulate blood flow so that your circulation is starting to open up. And like, that's at the last stage of it. And so our relationship with Hoag, I think, has been really incredible. And I think it really sets us apart from anybody out there. In addition to our incredible sourcing, our top shelf ingredients, we really wanted to offer something like the very best out there. So now they have something called Flywell at John Wayne Airport in Orange County. So we have a whole aromatherapy bar. So before you get on a flight, if you have jet lag and jitters, we have a flight oil in addition to our immune and detox. They can try any of those oils before they get on a big, to go travel. So that's been a really fun experience to touch people on a daily basis, coming to and from all parts of the world. And then another thing I'm really excited about is we're getting ready to do a study with Dr. Elizabeth Raskins, and she's she's the head of the Digestive Health Institute for Hoag. And so we're doing pre and post-op surgery essential oils. So pre-surgery, they're doing lavender to help relax the patients about 20 minutes prior to surgery. And she said now that it's happening, everyone's asking for it. Post-surgery, we're using sweet orange to help stimulate appetite. We're using peppermint to help with nausea. We're using frankincense for pain. So pretty shortly here, we're going to have a beautiful, unbiased study from one of the top doctors. Dr. Raskin is she's like my hero. I absolutely love this woman. She's so inspiring. And then we're also working really closely with Dr. Allison Brooks. She's the head of the Women's Health Institute for Hoag, and they've actually asked me to be on their committee. So these are things that I'm just like, it's like pinch me. I can't believe, this started as, like a passion project that we needed something to help, bring more joy into our lives. And now we're getting to share it with others. So it's been just a really incredible journey for me personally.
Wow. So many big things coming up. I can't wait to hear how these all play out. And just a great plug for, the plant medicine, benefits as they are, and really hoping that folks can understand that this isn't just, yes, it smells nice. Yes, there is that aspect, but it also has a medicinal benefit for you as well. My goodness, Jessica, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of the details of CAMPO Beauty. I'm excited to see where things go. Give us the scoop on where folks can find you, Instagram, socials, and of course, campobeauty.com. Give us a scoop.
Yes. Okay. So all of our social media handles are CAMPO Beauty. So just at CAMPO Beauty. And if you want to go onto our website and you just register, you'll get 15% off. And then you'll get insider tips. You'll get great. We don't send a ton of emails, but when they do, they're either a great promotion or it's really great, interesting material or a new product that might really interest you. So you can always try it and then unsubscribe, but at least you can get your discount and give us a try. And it's literally not to be salesy, but we rarely get returns. And so if you're not literally 100%, thrilled with our product, we happily take it back or we typically just say, take it and share it with a friend because we know somebody will benefit from this.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Love how you guys are doing things and looking forward to what goes on with your partnership with Hug. That sounds fascinating. I'd love to hear that plant medicine's being used in hospital situations, and especially in the digestive and in the women's health. And of course, even with the labor and delivery department. So cool. So cool. Once again, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hey, fellow health junkie, thanks for listening to the Health Fix podcast. If you enjoyed tuning in, please help support me to get the word out about the podcast. Subscribe, rate, and review, and just get that word out. Thanks again for listening.